Hammond Street. You're also streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. My name is Safwa Bwahini. The news bulletin starts now. National Security set to conduct forensic analysis on large amounts of seized unspecified US dollar notes hidden in 12 20-foot containers. Minister for Foreign Affairs assures President Mahama committed to diplomatic efforts to reintegrate Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso in economic community of West African states, ECOWAS. Also, Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating chaos that broke out at the vetting committee sitting to resume work later this morning. And on the international front, China's tit-for-tat import taxes on some American goods set to come into effect on Monday, February 10, as the trade war between the world's two biggest economies escalates. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us this morning. We begin with our first story now. National Security is set to conduct forensic analysis on large amounts of seized unspecified US dollar notes hidden in 12 20-foot containers. Operatives from National Security on Saturday night busted and seized unspecified amounts of US dollars and Ghana cedis, including boxes of metal suspected to be gold bars. Komila Kluche reports that there is currently a manhunt for 4 unknown individuals linked to the seizures.
GPS code GW0095-2483, location Salperman near Amasaman in Gas South. A warehouse only noted for shipment with huge containers ferried in and out. Unknown to many, there was more to the containers and the shipment. 12 containers cleverly sealed with the currencies mostly in the United States dollar denominations, hidden in wooden boxes filled with cement. The containers appearing to a hard charcoal carefully positioned in it with wooden barricade segmentation to prevent any notice of state security. Initial investigations show about 2 of the 20-footer containers were recently moved from the warehouse to an unknown location with intense tracking to retrieve it. A tip-off monitored closely by the NSC located the warehouse where the operations were orchestrated. At the reception of the warehouse, this shipping inspection documents were found with details of persons the NSC is investigating. At the back office of the reception was this military regalia with boots. An on-site assessment showed the regalia was fake. The facility had closed circuit camera monitoring with a watchtower mostly used by their security. The NSC, after uncovering the large amounts of dollar bills, have mounted surveillance of the area. Directly opposite the warehouse is an uncompleted building stashed with counterfeit dollar bills, rolls of Ghana cedi notes with carbon paper suspected to be used for the operations. Boxes full of metals suspected to be gold bars were also retrieved. 4 individuals are at large, with a ringleader only named as Alaji are being tracked from National Security Intelligence. The items are to undergo immediate forensic examination to determine its genuineness and street value. The NSC is also tracking the suspected containers believed to have been moved before the burst. Komila Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, meanwhile, a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Victor Ducker, is certain that there is a clear intent of criminality behind the incident, hence entreating the security agencies to be on the quiet as they further investigations.
I agree. So that's what I use, the criminal syndicate, right? So there is a large group of people who are responsible for this. Now, when you have items coming, normally when you have some, secondhand goods in the front of the container, as you said, it takes what? Very responsible, officers and intelligence also to know that, no, it's not just what is in front, but then deeper examination. Now, after that examination is done, and then you get to realize that there are elements that are not supposed to be in there, then we can now conclude that there's criminality associated with this. There's no two ways about that. So, as we have ascertained, the criminal aspect with this, because then the counterfeit, and then probably if the gold bars are tested to be fake and we realize, then you can be rest assured that these syndicates are either using this, materials in the aspect of what swindling prospective investors, either in the country or those who are yet to come into the country. So this is what has been going on for some time, but they've been apprehended. The containers have been apprehended. We now need to know the faces behind these operations.
Now let's take you to the happenings in Parliament, where the special committee tasked to probe the Verton chaos will resume its work today, February 10, 2025. The duty of the committee is to investigate the chaotic scenes on Thursday, January 30, during the ministerial Verton, which led to the destruction of some state properties. 4 members who were suspended for their involvement in the chaos have been exonerated by the Speaker following deliberations among leaderships of the House. The committee started its work on February 5 and expected to complete investigations into the incident in due time. We will be bringing you details and updates when the sitting commences. Now, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General and head of the United Nations Support Mission in Libya, UNSMIL, Hannah Tete, has emphasized the importance of maintaining decorum in Parliament. The former Foreign Affairs Minister and MP noted that members of Parliament should endeavor to reflect the title bestowed upon them as honorables. Here is a News Desk report.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagman, following the incident, set up an ad hoc committee to probe the matter. The minority has recused themselves from the committee, citing bias as the reason, and is demanding a reconstitution of the committee's membership.
I have written a memo to Mr. Speaker as part of the due process that I want to follow, but it is unacceptable that there will be live telecasts of events that Mr. Speaker has directed, that it shouldn't be a public hearing. And I emphasize this because those were the orders of Mr. Speaker. The audiovisual can be procured. I procured it. We can check it. That is exactly what Mr. Speaker says. So I don't understand why there is this public hearing.
But the chair of the committee, Emmanuel Bejra, has denied the claims of bias.
That shows the hypocrisy of our colleagues, because if Honorable Abena was with us yesterday and today they are singing different tune, the best judge are Ghanaians. One of them, actually, who now you are alleging that he has had a press conference, was with us here. He even asked questions, and today he's same person. I mean, how best will I describe the person if he can tell us? Yesterday he called me. I saw the call was were engaging that he would not be able to make it. And then all of a sudden, without talking to me, you went on air that I've been biased.
Speaking with Johnny Hughes on 3FM Sunrise Morning Show on Friday, February 7, a former member of Parliament for Iwutu Sinya, who is also a former Foreign Minister, Hannah Tete, stressed the importance of upholding the decorum that should accompany an institution.
I've seen reactions in many parliaments on this continent.
Right.
So, in as much as I would agree with you that the behavior exhibited over the last couple of days leaves something to be desired, I also have to say that I've seen worse, but that we're not competing in that direction. I think it's important to maintain the decorum that is associated or should be associated with the institution, because that is what makes the institution worthy of respect, both domestically and externally as well. So I hope that elected members of parliament who are called honorable will remember that it's not just a title, it's a description of a desired behavior.
The former foreign minister also urged the new foreign minister, Samuel Okudzeto Ablekuma, to build bridges with other countries in the execution of Ghana's foreign policy.
It would be useful to him to learn as much as possible, right, about the perspectives of our neighbors, of our region, and also of our key allies, and who they also see as our competitor countries. Because it's not all about Ghana. And so it's important for us to understand what our strengths are, but be humble enough to admit our shortcomings and see how in the execution of our foreign policy and in the way in which we reach out to achieve our foreign policy priorities, we think about how we address that in a constructive way. And with other African countries in a way that is collaborative and not competitive. And the fact that we want to collaborate, we should understand that that doesn't mean that they want to. Because to the extent that any country sees us as a threat, they're looking to be able to project themselves in a way that makes them the better partner, or seen as a more effective investment destination, or seen as a more effective security partner. So I think it's important not to be naive.
Still on parliamentary affairs, and Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dapiamekpo, has defended Speaker Alban Bagben's right to discipline misconduct in Parliament, citing Standing Orders 129 and 130. His remarks come after the Speaker's January 30, 2025 suspension of 4 MPs for inappropriate behavior during ministerial vetting, a decision that sparked controversy and was later reversed.
They held public press conferences and said that Speaker had no power to do what he did. So they will not respect the decision. They've since run away from that. The committee is hearing he has no power to do what they are doing, but the committee is doing its work. And under Order 129 and 130 of our standing orders, the Speaker had every power to punish a disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct in our standing orders is applicable to conduct at plenary or conduct at committee level. That is why when Speaker, who is like my father figure, said this, I never whimpered. This is my first media engagement ever since I was punished on.
Let's take you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where the Sector Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablekuma says President John Dramani Mahama is spearheading diplomatic efforts to reintegrate Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso into the economic community of West African state ECOWAS. The 3 Sahel nations announced their departure from ECOWAS in January 2024, citing dissatisfaction with the regional bloc's approach to governance and security issues. Here's a news desk report.
Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso formally left the Economic Community of West African State, ECOWAS, on January 29, 2025. Relations between the trio and the regional bloc soared after the July 2023 coup that ousted Niger's president, Mohamed Bazoum, prompting ECOWAS to demand his reinstatement and threaten military intervention. In response, Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso announced their exit in January and accused ECOWAS of failing to safeguard member states and of aligning too closely with foreign powers. The 3 nations then created the Alliance of Sahel States, severed military ties with long-standing Western partners such as the US and France, and turned to Russia for military support. The Sahel region has faced significant security challenges, including terrorism and insurgency, which have displaced millions and exacerbated the food crisis. Speaking on TV3's Key Point program on Saturday, February 8th, Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablekuma said President Mahama's appointment of a special envoy to engage with the leaders of the 3 countries is a move towards a diplomatic solution to the issue.
As you see President Mahama doing, already he's moving to make sure that Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso come back into the ECOWAS fold. He's appointed a special envoy. He's holding talks. He's leading the charge to make sure that within our region, all those who are adopting a posture of exclusion and wanting to isolate, isolation, he's bringing them back into the fold. Look at what he's achieved so far. I have no doubt that President Mahama will succeed in bringing back those who are breaking away.
Samuel Okudzeto Ablekuma emphasized that Ghana's foreign policy under President Mahama will prioritize economic diplomacy and strategic partnerships.
Our diplomacy must create real impact on the ground. What are you bringing home? We are spending billions of taxpayer funds maintaining these 71 missions abroad. These 71 missions, they have to bring something home. Investors must come home. Industries must be open. It must lead to massive job creation. We must see the fruits of diplomacy. The fruits of the foreign ministry must be clear and impactful for everybody to see.
He added that the Mahama-led administration will assess the benefit of joining BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
If you look at the international forces now, you cannot ignore BRICS. You are talking about a combined market population of more than 40% of the total population of the world. Combined GDP of more than 27 trillion.
Absolutely.
And they have really put in place structures which are quite enticing. Any day, I will recommend that we should have more options. We should be building more relationships, forging more partnerships moving forward so that we are not restricted and limited.
On January 17, 2025, the bloc announced the formal admission of Nigeria as a partner country of the grouping. Nigeria becomes the 9th partner country of BRICS, joining Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan.
Well, on the health front, 2 persons have been confirmed dead from cholera in the Futu district of the Central Region. As of Saturday, February 8, the region has or had recorded 69 confirmed cholera cases. The latest 14 cases were recorded on Saturday, February 8 from Futu and Aguna districts. Out of the 69 confirmed cases, 64 were admitted, 6 were severe, 27 were moderate and 36 were mild. 6 districts have so far recorded cases, with the Futu district topping the chart with 38 out of the 69 total confirmed cases. Healthcare workers are still fighting a desperate battle to contain the spread of the disease following the steady spike in cases across the region. While residents remain anxious over the development, the Ghana Health Service will be embarking on another vaccination exercise against the outbreak in the Greater Accra region this week. Well, let's bring you some more stories now. And on Tuesday, select individuals from all the 261 districts across the country were lined up to elect, or will be lined up to elect, members of the Council of State. What is the Council of State and what is their relevance in Ghana's democracy? Enyonam Haliga answers these questions in the 3 News Explainer.
On February 11, Ghana will witness another crucial step in its democratic process as about 150 candidates contest for regional slots in the Council of State elections. However, gender representation remains a concern, with only 10 of the candidates, just 6%, being women. The remaining over 150 are men, highlighting the ongoing challenge of female participation in high-level governance. Unlike general elections, this vote is not open to the public. Instead, an electoral college system is used where 2 representatives from each district assembly cast their vote to elect a regional representative. Established under the Articles 89 and 92 of the 1992 Constitution, the Council of State serves as an advisory body to the President, providing guidance on key national issues. Its members include a former Chief Justice, a former Chief of Defense Staff, a former Inspector General of Police, the President of the National House of Chiefs, 16 elected regional representatives, and 11 other members appointed by the President. The council elects its chairman from among the members, and they serve until the president's term ends unless a member resigns, becomes incapacitated, or dismissed from misconduct with parliamentary approval. The Council of States plays a crucial role in governance, offering advice on bills before they become law, reviewing key presidential appointments, and guiding the president on national issues. Essentially, they are the board of governors or advisors to the president. Only their advice per a recent Supreme Court ruling is not binding on the president. The recent legal debate over the appointment of the acting BOG governor, Dr. Johnson Esiama, without a consultation of the council, perhaps highlights the role of the constitutional creature. With election just days away, attention is on the selection process and whether it will bring diverse perspective into national decision-making. Will this new council reflect a more inclusive leadership, or will the status quo persist? Enyonam Haliga, TV3 News, Accra.
The National Democratic Congress, NDC, in the Ablekuma North constituency is demanding that the Electoral Commission rerun polls at the 62 polling stations whose pink sheets are under contestation. The Electoral Commission has been unable to declare a winner in the December 7, 2024 elections because all the parties involved could not produce the pink sheet from 3 polling centers. But the NDC at the vigil called on the Electoral Commission to take the necessary action to ensure residents have their parliamentary representative. A report by Stanley Niblo.
NDC supporters from the constituency and beyond converged on the forecourt of the Techiman Chief's Palace to hold a vigil in solidarity of their parliamentary candidates, Irabna Orban. The candlelight vigil was to convey a message to the Electoral Commission to expedite processes to declare the winner of the Ablekuma North parliamentary seat, adding there will be no room for recurrence of South situation. The Electoral Commission has failed to declare parliamentary results for the constituency after a 7th recollation attempt, resulting in a stalemate. In the constituency, both Ekwe Freye of the NPP and Irabna Orban of the NDC have mounted billboards expressing appreciation to the constituents for electing them. Back at the vigil, the election management body is being challenged to declare the NDC candidate Irabna Orban as MP-elect. Constituency organizer Musa Kalamu demanded the EC to conduct fresh elections in the 62 polling stations that have their pink sheets contested by the parties.
There is no way we will allow those MPP scanned pink sheets to stand. Already you saw what happened. We had videos that presiding officers even came and said all those pink sheets were forged. That is why we are saying we expect the EC to come back, since they are saying they do not have the pink sheets of the 62 polling stations. Let's come back to Ablekuma North. Let's rerun those 62 and the clear winner will be decided.
The Greater Accra Regional Organizer of the NDC, Anthony Nupenu, called on colleague supporters in the constituency to defend themselves if the NPP supporters, incited by the Nsawam Adwajiri MP, Frank Anodompre, attacks any of them. NDC parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North, Irabna Orban, served notice not to back down until the Electoral Commission declares her winner to represent her constituents in the legislature.
We also have Madame Gladys Pinkra, the regional director of the EC, also had to run away in the full glare of the media with pink sheets because it didn't have some authorized signature. All these have happened. And then you get up to tell us that you have 3 outstanding polling stations to vote. That cannot happen because the NPP does not have the hard copies of the pink sheets. The EC do not have it, neither does the NDC. And so there is no way they would use anybody's personal data to collect results and declare for Ablekuma North constituency. I think this is just a fair call. So the EC must do right.
Ablekuma North is currently the only constituency without representation in Parliament, intensifying agitations among both NPP and NDC supporters. They look up to the Electoral Commission to act swiftly in exercising its mandate to give the people a just representation in Parliament. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News, Ablekuma North.
And lastly, before we end this bulletin, a portion of the Techiman Central Market has been gutted by fire. Sunday evening's incident is the second in 4 weeks, stripping traders of their investments. Wooden shops and their contents portion of the market running into hundreds of cities were destroyed. No fatality or casualty was recorded. The personnel deployed to the incident scene had a tough time dousing the fire. Meanwhile, the investigation has been launched into the outbreak. Some eyewitnesses spoke to our Bono East Regional correspondent, Belinda Tete.
My sister and a friend say, I will see a side of one eye at no or honey shit. Timothy and I may be Mirka and I may file Okada. To me, the bedroom, and maybe she has seen Pepe, not fire service, so I do on them. Metal Sona, or more castle, matcha, or more Sona, what they do Mijano. Or matcha, yes, so much of mobile and some matcha 3 times in then I say, my own first on Benya and Janin to know more shit, the Binia Pine. Yes, I did imagine near my who said that they are a conform your pine society near my. Yes, and an conform Shabby Brosso. Did I met a quanwell? And so, Mintimin Sharonco, the corporate Mintimenda.
That'll be all for the morning news. Many thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Safwa Boyne. New day continues right after this breather. Do have a lovely week.